Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. Panthers advice. Football is back tomorrow. I mean, technically it was last weekend, but it really starts this weekend. I'm excited. The team, we'll see what happens, but man, I'm just happy it's back. A lot to go over today. We're talking about the new kickoff change. You could sum it up a little bit, but there's a lot of nuances in there that we're going to have to break down. Talk about some position battles I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and talk about a little offensive line. And I might have been wrong yesterday, man. Let's get into it. So as we jump into the video, man, let's go over the new kickoff real quick. The kicking team will kick off from the 35-yard line. Now, with that being said, only the kicker is going to kick from their 35-yard line right here. Everybody else is going to line up on the opponent's 40-yard line. They have to keep a foot on the opponent's 40-yard line at all times, I believe, until it bounces or until they catch it. Next up is going to be a minimum of 9 members of the receiving team are going to line up between the 30 and 35. Now, the kicking team, they have to have a foot on the 40-yard line. The receiving team, in between the 30 and 35-yard line, I believe it's a minimum of 9 guys. They can have 10 guys up here, but a minimum of 9, as you can see right here, 2 returners. Now, nobody knows exactly what formations people are going to come out in. 1 returner, 2 returner. We'll see what happens as the year progresses. So now the next question is, okay, when does the play begin? The ball is either caught or hits the ground in the landing zone or is returned from the end zone. That's pretty standard. Not much has changed there. However, any kick that hits and stays in the landing zone, it must be returned. On top of that, any kick that bounces from the landing zone into the end zone must be returned or down by the receiving team for a touchback. And then before you got it at the 35, if you nailed it in the end zone, now it's only the 20-yard line. Definitely different than before. Now let's say a kick fails to reach the 20-yard line, whether it goes out of bounds, whatever the reason is. If it fails to reach the 20, not goes into the end zone, if it fails to reach the 20, the receiving team takes possession at the 40-yard line. Now that's huge. And as you can see, man, they're really trying to push returns. They're really trying to push returns. Now let's say the ball enters the end zone in the air. The receiving team can return it or down it and take possession at the 30. So to wrap this up real quick, if the team kicks out of bounds, receiving team gets at the 40-yard line. If the ball hits inside the 20 and then goes into the end zone, you can kneel it, but you only get it at the 20. If the kicker kicks it into the end zone, you can down it and you get the ball at the 30. So it's a little confusing. They're trying to push returns, though. They really are. They're basically giving the kicker about a 20-yard window to hit there, and if they do, you either have to return it or you get the ball to 20, man. That about sums up most of it. There's a couple other nuances. Like I said before, if the ball goes out of bounds, the receiving team takes possession at the 40-yard line. Now, onside kicks is where it gets tricky. I've read a couple different rules right here, so don't quote me for sure on this. But onside kicks are permitted in the fourth quarter. Setup and landing zones do not change. And with that being said, from what I've read, you only get 1 onside kick. You get 1 onside kick. The next thing is the 10 kicking team players cannot move until the ball hits the ground or a player in the landing zone or the end zone. So, there's a lot of different things to go over right here. Just a lot of nuances. Pause it and read it if you want. There's one more thing we're going to go over real quick. So let me jump to miscellaneous. If conditions cause the ball to fall off the tee twice, then the kicker can use a kicking stick and the closest official will pick it up. Onside kicks we kind of just went over. Fourth quarter, and you have to be losing. From what I read, you have to be losing, and I think you only get 1 chance. So I'm not sure. I'm sure we're going to hear more about it this weekend. Stay tuned for that. But now let's jump into the fun stuff. Now let's jump into the Carolina Panthers news, man. Let's get into it. As you guys know, Bryce Young is not playing in the preseason opener. Before I give my thoughts, let's read what Dave told the media yesterday. So we're going to talk about a couple things Dave said yesterday in his interview when he said Bryce Young isn't going to start. You can't play scared, but you've got to be smart, and so yeah, it's a factor for sure. Canales said of the risk of injury. We're thinking about that with the guys we're counting on. We're definitely taking that into consideration here. In our live move the ball periods, we're going one-on-ones all camp. Those are so valuable, especially at the end of practice. When we're tired, we get into the move the ball setting. We'll have the Jets in here for joint practice next week, and that's going to be a fantastic day. I can't wait. That's great for those guys, so we've got to take advantage of those windows. All right, he basically said a lot of nothing, right? A lot of PR stuff right there. I get what Dave is saying because it seems like everybody on the Panthers just keeps getting injured. It's just like what happened last year. Everybody just keeps getting injured. In fact, they signed a pretty good safety from Denver, but what was the knock on him? Injury, right? Sean Payton came out and said he's just fallen to the depth chart because he can't play. So I get where Dave's coming from. Still a little frustrating because this is a whole new team and we still kind of have a bad taste in our mouths from last year. Would like to see him play a little bit. Again, I understand where Dave's coming from. It's a little frustrating. And with that being said, the first look we're going to see from Bryce against real competition isn't going to be week 2 against the Jets. It's actually going to be a couple of days before that when they have their practice like we saw last year and the Jets tore the Panthers up. So hopefully this year it's a little bit different. We're going to see him in training camp and then we're going to see him 2 days later in the game. Do I love that? Not really. And the reason I say that is because I would like to see him verse 3 different defenses. You know, against the Jets, we're going to see them in training camp and then preseason and then the Bills and then we're done. Is it enough? I mean, who knows? He's the head coach. He's calling his shots. His job's on the line, not mine. So I'm going to trust what he says. Next thing we're going to talk about is the offensive line. Now, yesterday, I kind of got frustrated with Taylor Moton right here. And I was like, to me, he didn't play great on film. According to PFF, and I don't love using number sites like this because it kind of takes away from film watching. Now, there's guys who do both, watch film and do numbers, but I hate people who just look at numbers and don't watch any film. To me, it takes away from the game. So as I look at Taylor right here, 1,100 snaps played, 4 penalties, 1 sack allowed. And then we look at Icky, same amount of snaps, 8 more penalties, and 10 more sacks allowed. So with that being said, Icky, I hope you step it up this year. 11 sacks allowed, 12 penalties. I mean, you beat Taylor in both those categories, and that's not a good thing. And you guys played almost the same amount of snaps. Now, it says the same amount, but again, it's numbers, so I like to go a little give and take with the air system on that. But 12 penalties compared to Taylor's 4, 11 sacks compared to Taylor's 1. So we're going to find out very soon if Icky's going to play better, man. Now let's jump to some position battles I'm looking forward to watching this preseason. First up is Coker and TMJ. I believe this is a real position battle. Are they going to be the 4th receiver, the 5th receiver? Could Coker make an impact and jump up? I think he could. I think TMJ has more potential, but, you know, TMJ's been on the team for how long now? At some point, we're going to have to see it. Coker, we'll see what he has to offer. I think Coker could be that guy, but TMJ, to me, he has all the intangibles. Will he use them, man? I hope so. We're going to find out. This preseason, we're going to find out what TMJ is. And if he's not what Dave wants him to be, he most likely, he may be on the team, but might not get a lot of burn, man. Let's keep it going. On to position battle number 2. Next up is Lamar Jackson and D. Boodle right here. Now, with these two, they're both going to be on the team no matter what, I think, when it's all said and done. However, both of them at some point are going to start in preseason, whether it's the second half, third quarter, fourth quarter. They're going to be playing first, second corner. We're going to see who's about that life. Who can do more with the opportunities presented? Lamar Jackson or Boodle? That's one I'm excited to watch. Again, I think they'll both be on the team, but I'm still excited to watch them. And the last one I'm looking forward to, kind of like the last position group, I think they'll both be on the team no matter what, but it's DJ Johnson versus Caleb Vaughn. Now, Caleb Vaughn, I believe, was a first-round pick for the Jaguars, 2 to 3 years ago, give or take? DJ Johnson, rookie last year. Everybody is talking about DJ Johnson. Caleb Vaughn, a lot of potential there. I mean, maybe they both pan out. You know? I mean, the Panthers are 7-point underdogs right now on DraftKings. I don't have a sponsorship with them, but 7-point underdogs, and I like the depth of our front 7 up in Foxborough. I might take that. I'm going to let you guys know tomorrow if I do or not, because obviously we'll be having a post-game press conference video. Stay tuned for that. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. And you guys know, football starts tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts. Are you guys excited? I mean, is there any hope? Let me know in the comments, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.